जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी 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 जय गोपी जनवल्लभ गिरवरधारी 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 यशोदानंदन व्रज जनरंजन यशोदानंदन व्रज जनरंजन यशोदानंदन व्रज जनरंजन यशोदानंदन व्रज जनरंजन यमुना तेरा वनचारी यमुना तेरा वनचारी यमुना तेरा वनचारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय राधा कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय गोपी जनवल्लभ गिरवरधारी जय गोपी जनवल्लभ गिरवरधारी यशोदानंदन व्रज जनरंजन यशोदानंदन व्रज जनरंजन यमुना तेरा वनचारी यमुना तेरा वनचारी हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Guru Deva, 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 Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur Hari Bol. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramhamsa Parivagacharya Ashtotar Saraswati Srimad A.C. Bhakti Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Jai Om Nitya Lila Parashtam Vishnupad Paramhamsa Parivagacharya Ashtotar Saraswati Srimad Bhakti Siddhanta Swastako Prabhupada ki jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Namacharya Sri Lalidas Thakur ki jai. Sri Rupa Shri Sanatan Bhatt Raghunath Sri Jiva Gopal Bhatt Das Raghunath Sad Goswami Prabhu ki jai. Prem se kaho Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivas Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Shri Radha Krishna Gopinath Shyam Kunda Rakun Giri Govardhan ki jai. Brajbhumi Sri Vrindavan Dham ki jai. Sri Navadip Mayapur Dham ki jai. Sri Jagannath Puri Dham ki jai. Gangamai Jamunamai ki jai. Srimati Tulsi Devi Bhakti Devi ki jai. Samveta Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Harinam Sankirtan Yagya ki jai. Grantara Srimad Bhagavad Mahapuran ki jai. Jai Gaur Premanande. All glories to some devotees. All glories to some devotees. All glories to some devotees. All glories to Guru Shri Gaur.
Let's just welcome Solis Atmanivedana Swami. Yesterday somehow he arrived during the festival.
Hare Krishna.
Let's chant loudly. Hare Bol, Hare Bol, Hare Bol. Solis Atmanivedana Swami ki jai.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. 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 So this morning's Bhagavatam class is on Canto 4, Chapter 29, text number 6, talks between Narada and King Prachinavari. Sakhya Indriya Gana Jnanam Karma Cha Yat Kritam Sakhya Tat Pritaya Prana Pancha Vitri Yatha Ugra Sakhya Indriya Gana Jnanam Karma Cha Yat Kritam Sakhyasta Tutya Prana Pancha Vritirtha Guna Ugraha Sakhya Indriya Gana Jnanam Karma Cha Yat Kritam Sakhyasta Tutya Prana Pancha Vritirtha Ugraha. Anyone?
Sakaya Indriya Gana Jnanam Karma Chayat Kritam Sakyastat Pritaya Prana Pancha Vrittiryatoragaha.
Ladies from the right.
Sakaya Indriya Gana Jnanam Karma Chayat Kritam Sakyastat Pritaya Prana Pancha Vrittiryatoragaha.
Sakhya, the male friends. Indriya Gana, the senses. Jnanam, knowledge. Karma, activity. Cha, also. Yat Kritam, done by the senses. Sakhya, female friends. Tat, of the senses. Pritaya, engagements. Prana, life air. Panchavriti, having five processes. Yatha, like. Ugraha, the serpent. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Atmanivedana Swami, Prabhupada. The five working senses and the five senses that acquires knowledge all are male friends of Puranjani. The living entities are assisted by the senses in acquiring knowledge and engaging in the activities. The engagement of the senses are known as girlfriends, and the serpent, which was described as having five heads, is the life air acting within the five circulatory processes. Purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Atmanivedana Swami, Prabhupada. Krishna Bahirmukha Hana Bhoga Vancha Hare Nikatasya Maya Tare Japitya Dhure. This is from the Prema Vaivata. Because of his desire to enjoy the material world, the living entity is dressed with the material gross and subtle bodies. Thus, he is given the chance to enjoy the senses. The senses are therefore instruments for enjoying the material world. Consequently, the senses have been described as friends. Sometimes, because of too much sinful activity, the living entity does not get the material gross body, but hovers on a subtle platform. This is called ghostly life. Because he is not possessing a gross body, he creates a great deal of trouble in his subtle body. Thus, the presence of a ghost is horrible for those who are living in a gross body, as stated in the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 15, text 10. Utakramanta sthitavapi bhujanam va gunavavitam vimudha na pusyanti pasyanti jnana chaksusa. The foolish cannot understand how the living entity can quit his body, nor can they understand what sort of body he enjoys under the spell of modes of nature. But those whose eyes are trained in knowledge can see all this. The living entities are merged into the air of life, which acts in different ways for circulation. There is prana, apana, udhaya, vyana, and samana. And because of the life air functions in the fivefold way, it is compared to the five-hooded serpent. The soul passes through the kundalini chakra like a serpent crawling on the ground. The life air is compared to ugra, the serpent. Panchavritti is desire to satisfy the senses attracted by five sense objects, namely form, taste, smell, sound, and touch. Om Jnanatamindasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshusumritam Yena Tasmai Sri Guruve Namaha Panchakalpa Trubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Pyecha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavyo Namo Namaha. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. So this chapter is very interesting because it starts with a story of King Puranjan. Of course, if you already read this chapter and chapter before, you will know that King Puranjan is not a real person. He's like a, what we call in our ordinary language, a fairy tale person. So he is used as an object to give us an insight of how we are living this material world. So this particular verse we are studying today is saying very clearly that this body is made of material elements, and with this there is a soul. The soul is the active principle in the body, because without presence of the soul, the body is inactive, or what we consider a dead body or dead matter. So when the soul is present, the body is active. And then the body is active, what does the body's activities do? It works basically on the principle of the five senses. The five senses are the five sense organs which we have: the eyes, the nose, the tongue, the ear, and the ability to touch, feel sensation. So we perceive this world through these five senses. So when we see this world around us with five senses, then what happens is the soul, if it's not properly situated, then it will want to enjoy. Of course, this enjoying principle is naturally there for the soul, because the soul is described as Sat Chit Ananda. Sat means eternal, Chit means full of knowledge, and Ananda means full of bliss. So when the soul is full of knowledge, and it's got a form, it's eternal, and that principle of Ananda, the blissfulness, is always there. Now where is this blissfulness coming from? It's coming from the Supreme Lord Himself. As in the Bhagavad Gita it is described that the soul is part and parcel of the Supreme Lord. Mama Ivansa Jiva Bhuta Jiva Sanatan. We are all parts and parcel of the Supreme Lord. The Supreme Lord is described as Sachit Ananda Vigraha. He is the Supreme, and because He has all the same qualities of Sat, is eternal. Of course, the Supreme Lord is full of knowledge and absolute knowledge, and He is absolutely blissful. And of course, Prabhupada explains that the Vigraha portion is that He has a beautiful form. Unfortunately, in the material world, if we don't have a complete understanding of the Supreme Lord as He is, then we kind of see the Lord in an impersonal way. That yes, He is great, He is very powerful, but He has no form. But here it's very clearly said, Vigraha means He has a form. And just like we have a form, but our form is not eternal. as long as we are in the material body. The material body is temporary. And we see this all around us, that people are taking birth in this material world. After some time, they age. And then when age, they become disease conditions. And then ultimately, they end up dying. And death means that you have now completed a journey in this body, but you move on to the next body, and the next one, and you keep going in this cycle. So here, the story is relating to King Puranjana, that he was so engrossed in sense enjoyment. Now, sometimes when we are preaching in the principles of Krishna consciousness, we say we should not have sense gratification. So then some people wonder, if we cannot enjoy, what is the value of life? What do we do? Of course, Srila Prabhupada explains that we enjoy spiritually, we enjoy transcendentally. And the transcendental enjoyment is not going to be the cause of our bondage in the material world, but it is going to be the cause of our liberation. Now, for example, if you want to eat nicely, and of course in this material world, they have all these fancy restaurants, and then they advertise that come and enjoy these enticing preparations. It's full of flavors. But if you eat all these things, it's not a problem. But what's going to happen is that there is going to be some reaction. Just like in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna explains that which you eat, if it's not offered to me in yajna, then you are eating sin. So if you're readily eating sin, means you're getting entangled in the material world. And sin means there's different kinds of sinful activities and different kinds of reactions you get because of those sins. So Prabhupada is explaining from the Bhagavad Gita, as Krishna himself says, that you make nice preparations, wonderful, wonderful preparations, but with certain limitations, that there's certain things the Lord cannot accept. He will not accept any meat products, any drug type of food stuff which is inducing madness in the mind or the heart. But he says very clearly that if you offer those things which are acceptable to me, then I will accept it. As it says, Patram Puspam Phalam Toyam Yome Bhakta Prayachan. With love and devotion, if you offer me this, even if you offer me simple things, it's not a big deal. A fruit, a little flower, little water. But Krishna is saying that you can offer whatever you like, which is within the category of what I like. So therefore, we have to accept, we offer Krishna that which Krishna likes. Just like you and me. If someone offers us something that we don't like, are we going to accept it? Or sometimes we go to someone's home for a meal, and out of friendship they've invited you, they put some food stuff in front of you, and you know that this is not exactly what you like. But out of respect for your friend, you will kind of grudgingly eat it, but you won't enjoy it. So if the friend knows what is your taste, so if the friend makes preparations according to your liking and then offers it to you, you'll be so joyous. You'll be thankful to your friend that you are so thankful. It is such a wonderful meal you're offering me. I love this meal. So similarly with Krishna, we have to offer Krishna something that which he likes. And when you offer something which he likes, then he accepts it. But he only accepts with the condition. As Bhagavad Gita mentions, Yome Bhakta Prayachadi. That if you offer these things with love to me, then I'll accept it. Because Krishna is not interested in what kind of preparations you make and offer to him, but how much love you have put into it. And that is what is interested. Because as is mentioned in this purport also, that we have a gross body, and this gross body is functioning on the basis of the senses. And in order to maintain this gross body, we have to eat to provide energy source so that the body can function. Now, the Supreme Lord's body is not like you or me. So therefore, he doesn't need to eat to sustain his body. He is sustaining everyone else. But out of his kindness, as mentioned here, that as Prabhupada mentions, that yes, there is enjoyment in this process of Krishna consciousness, but in a correct way. So Krishna wants you to enjoy nicely while you are on this planet. So he says, you offer me wonderful preparations, I will accept it, and I'll purify it, and then I'll give it back to you, and then you relish this as Krishna Mahaprasadam. And after, by relishing Mahaprasadam, you will get purification of the heart. At the same time, you'll be free from any further entanglement in this material world. So there is opportunity for us to be happy and enjoying the material world, but in a spiritual way. But even there, as I said, the act of eating food, we think it is enjoyment, because that is what the world is living on. They are relishing all kinds of eatables. And they work hard for what? They earn a few pennies, and then they buy the food and they enjoy their food. Nobody works whole week and says, I'm not going to eat a whole week, I'm going to fast. Only the devotees of the Lord kind of practice this fasting business, that there are special days when we personally sacrifice our eating tendency for the pleasure of the Lord. That on Ekadashi you say, okay, I will fast. And even then, sometimes we cannot fast fully, and Krishna says, okay, don't worry. You can offer me non-grains, and at least you can eat something. Or those who are very strict in the principle of bhakti and want to very quickly desire the highest level of prema bhakti, then one would sacrifice on that one day and eat nothing. But then Prabhupada says, Ekadashi just doesn't mean fasting. Ekadashi means that you use that time and energy for hearing the Lord's pastimes, reading about the Lord's pastime, chanting the holy name, serving the Lord. So you engage so much focus in the service of the Lord, of hearing and chanting and serving in other different ways of worshipping, then you have no time to think about hunger. You know, sometimes you may experience this in your own life, that if you are so busy working in certain engagement, you're so busy, you have no time to eat. And before you know it, the whole day is gone and you haven't eaten the whole day. But you don't think at night time when you go to sleep, oh my God, I didn't eat all day today. Because the pangs of hunger were not there, because you are so engaged in the service of the Lord. And that sacrifice you do, Krishna appreciates that. And when Krishna appreciates that sacrifice, he will reciprocate with you. And what is his reciprocation? He will free you from this material world and give you transcendental pleasure. And that transcendental pleasure, it is what we are hankering for. So eating, then clothing. You know, you can wear nice clothes. Nobody is saying that you have to wear clothes like mendicant. You know, but the clothing should be worn in such a way that it is pleasing to the Supreme Lord. We wear nice clothes, and is the God, you know, the Supreme Lord going to be happy with my dress? So your consciousness should be that it should be for the pleasure of the Supreme Lord. So in that way, Srila Prabhupada says that this Krishna consciousness process is such a wonderful process that it's a joyous process, and if it's performed perfectly, then from the day you start practicing Krishna consciousness till the day you leave this material world, you'll be very joyous. There's no question of moroseness or sadness, because whatever you do for the pleasure of the Supreme Lord. And as Krishna says himself in the Bhagavad Gita, Yatha ma prapayante, that as you are reciprocating with me, I will reciprocate with you. So when we show our love for Krishna, then Krishna is not going to hold back and say, well, thank you, I'm enjoying your love for me. He will also reciprocate in kind, and he will give your love to you. And when you get Krishna's love, then that loving exchange is what makes you happy. Because the soul is spiritual, and because of spiritual nature, therefore the soul can only take transcendental pleasure in spiritual joy. But because we are caught up in this material gross body, then what happens is that the body is functioning on the basis of the five senses. And five senses is basically just gratifying the gross body. So we are so conditioned that therefore we think all these material things are going to bring us pleasure. And we try day and night, but sometimes we are successful in trying to enjoy some material facilities or material food or whatever, but it is temporary, it's not permanent. And in the purport also is mentioned that this material world is based on working on the three modes of material nature. So as long as we are in this material world, then we will have the impact of mode of goodness, mode of passion, and mode of ignorance. And depending on how we are living our lives, will decide what mode is more prominent. So if you live a mode of goodness, then goodness will be more prominent, and you will have a nice, good, clean life. Not necessarily spiritual life, but a clean life. And if you are living in a mode of passion, then passion will be more prominent. But generally in this day and age, goodness is very, very small in percentage. Passion is maybe 30% or so, and the rest 70% is ignorance. So we are so much influenced by ignorance that all our actions and activities, our thoughts, everything, even our desires, are influenced by ignorance. And ignorance is not going to elevate you to the happiness which you want. Although even in ignorance you may get the facilitation of so-called material enjoyment, but you won't be able to enjoy it, because the ignorance is so powerful that it will drag you down, and you cannot enjoy in the mode of ignorance. So unless of course you are blessed with a body which is 100% ignorant, then you are in ignorance is absolute bliss. And if you are on a pure transcendental platform, then you are in transcendental bliss. But if you are anywhere in between the ignorance and the transcendental bliss, then it is a mixture of all sorts of things which are not going to gratify you. For example, Prabhupada explains that by the Lord's arrangement, you get a particular body. Just like in this Prabhupada also is saying, that according to our desire and our requirement, you get different kinds of bodies to experience sense enjoyment. So in the scriptures mentioned that there are 8,400,000 species of life. Now this is not just a random figure, but with transcendental arrangement we understand that there are 8,400,000 forms of sense enjoyment which are prominent. So you may get one of the body which will allow you to enjoy this most prominent sense enjoyment in that body along with the others. The prominent one will be the one which is according to the body you are given in the 8,400,000 species. So Prabhupada explains that the body of a hog is 100% ignorant. And if you have seen hogs, they like to live in the most filthiest environment. They enjoy that. So example given is that Indra, when he was very, very absorbed in sense enjoyment of drinking and watching the dancing girls, and during that time, the transcendental sage Durvasa Muni, he went to see Lord Indra. Of course, Indra is not just ordinary person, he is the king of heaven. So basically, in this material world, he is kind of the supreme president, you can say. Then we have smaller presidents of different levels, but Indra is the supreme president. So even Durvasa Muni, a great sage, also has to go and see the president sometimes, out of maybe courtesy call or whatever. But then Durvasa Muni went to see Indra. Indra was so absorbed in his sense enjoyment that he violated the principle and etiquette of welcoming a great sage. So Durvasa Muni, as we all know from reading the Bhagavatam, that he is a great saintly person, but he is also Durvasa. Durvasa has got a potency of Lord Shiva in him. This is one of the Rudras. So Lord Shiva's potency is that Lord Shiva is very peacefully sitting. As long as you don't disturb him, he's quite happy. And if you want to please him, it's very easy to please him. That is why one of the names of Lord Shiva is Ashutosh. You can please him very much. At the same time, slightest agitation and he can be very angered. And when Lord Shiva is angered, then all hell breaks loose. So Durvasa Muni has this quality in him. So he was so angered by Indra's insolent of behavior that he cursed him that you have to become a hog for 1 year on this material world. So he came to the material world to fulfill that curse on him. And he was living, he was born as a hog, and he grew up a little more. And then he found a female hog. So he said, okay, let's enjoy. So he had a wonderful companionship with the female hog. And then, of course, companionship with two. Naturally, more baby hogs are produced. So he had a whole family of baby hogs. And he was quite happily enjoying and wallowing in the sewers of this world and enjoying like madman. Now, because the president is absent for 1 year in the heavenly planets, the management is going with topsy-turvy. So all of them are going to Lord Brahma saying, hey, get back our king, because the management is out of place here. So Lord Brahma came to the material world, and of course Lord Brahma with the transcendental vision sees that this hog here is not just ordinary hog. He is Lord Indra. So he said, Indra, my lord, look at the time. Your curse is finished. 1 year is gone past. Now come back to Indra Loka. And Indra is looking at Brahma saying, are you crazy? Go to Indra Loka? Why? This is the most wonderful place I am. I'm living here, I'm living it up. This life is full of enjoyment. I have my wife here, and I have my children here, and is ignorance galore here. And Lord Brahma saying, oh, what's the matter with Indra? Because of course, if you read description of Indra Loka, it is the most glorious place with all the fineries, the best in the world can offer you. And Lord Brahma is thinking, why has Indra forsaken such a wonderful place to live like a hog? Then he clicks. He's cursed to be in an ignorant body. And that is why he can't see beyond ignorance. So, Lord Brahma, by his transcendental powers, removes that ignorance from Indra. And as soon as ignorance is removed, Indra looks at his body like this, and he freaks out completely, and immediately gives us a body and rushes back to Indra Loka. Of course, this is not just a story, but it is for us to understand that we are just like Indra cursed in a hog's body. Even this material body may be very, very nice and beautiful, but it isn't exactly beautiful. It is just our imagination that we think we are beautiful. Everybody is walking around thinking, I am the most beautiful. But who is beautiful? Only you think you are beautiful. The only other person who may think you are most beautiful is your mother. Otherwise, nobody will think you are beautiful, because everybody is so much in their own selves. So the point is that when we are in this material world, we are also so much engrossed by the different modes. As I say, ignorance is very prominent. And if you come into right knowledge, as is mentioned here, that through knowledge, you can see clearly your position. And when you see your position very clearly, then you'll act on that, how to reach as your original position. So what is the position given in the scripture of the soul? The soul's position is Jivere Swarupohoy Nitya Krishna Das. Eternally we are servant of Krishna, but we have forgotten. So we are so much under illusion, thinking that I am so happy in this material world. And you go on your life, you're thinking quite happy, and then at some point, some misery comes your way. And then when the misery comes your way, then you begin to think, well, what happened to my happiness? Then you start looking for that happiness. But then what happens? You're looking for that happiness in the wrong place. Happiness is not in this material world. Happiness is with Jagannath and Shishi Gauritai. The curtain is open. That's the right time to let us know that happiness is with me, not anywhere else. So of course, the Lord is also very, very merciful that He keeps reminding us that happiness is with Him. So, coming back to the understanding that what is our purpose in life, when we read the story of King Puranjana, it's not just a story of King Puranjana, but really it is our story. We are the Puranjanas and Puranjanis of this world. And we are so much engrossed in this that we cannot see reality. But sometimes, out of the causeless mercy of the Lord, He comes to us in mysterious ways to open our darkened eyes. Just like in the morning when we are praying in our Guru Vandana, He opens my darkened eyes and fills my heart with transcendental knowledge. So great personality like Prabhupada would come to this material world, not for enjoyment, because their enjoyment is with Krishna. But then Krishna says, Purohitism says, you go there, in the material world. And the living entity who is transcendental personality situated very nicely in the spiritual world would look at Krishna and say, are you sure you want me to go there? So Krishna says, yes, just go there, because you're going on my behalf. The material world will not touch you. I will give you full protection. So on that assurance, that person comes. And of course we are very fortunate that Prabhupada is that such Vaikuntha person who came to this material world. For what purpose? To fulfill the order of the Supreme Lord. And that order was to fulfill the mission of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, to spread Krishna consciousness and bring this knowledge in the darkened hearts of all the material living entities. And that is why Prabhupada was emphasizing so much that you go out and do Sankirtan, distribute books, do Harinams, and give prasadam. Because these are the three transcendental ways which we can free the living entity from the illusion. So sometimes they are not very interested in buying our books, because Kali Yuga now, nobody wants to read. Then we say, okay, no problem, listen to the holy name. Oh, no, I would rather listen to rock and roll and whatever now the music is called. I'm calling rock and roll because that was my teenage years, we were in the rock and roll age, So that was what we were brought up, and so this is it, this is life. They don't want to listen. And say, okay, don't worry, take a little prasadam. If you like sweets, give him gulab jamun or rasgulla. If you like savory, give him a kachori, a samosa, and that they will like. So when they eat either a savory or sweet, regardless, it is prasadam, mercy of the Lord. So then as soon as they take the morsel of the prasadam, their hearts begin to become clearer, because it is covered by the darkness of the fog of material world. And just like we see, when the fog is there and the sun comes out, it dissipates. So similarly, when you give prasadam to a living entity, that darkness which is covering the heart slowly dissipates and makes appears whole. And then through that hole, they say, wow, there is a whole beautiful world out there. And then they seek, where is that beautiful world? And then of course the Paramatma in the heart will guide them to the right place, and then they will take to Krishna consciousness. So we have to take to the spirit of preaching. And also Mahaprabhu himself says, Sartakari karo paraokar. Make yourself perfect, and then you go and make others perfect. And when we make others perfect, then when we see others becoming perfect, our happiness increases manifold. Because our happiness lies in the happiness of others becoming Krishna conscious. But that you can only experience when you are participating in the act of bringing someone to Krishna. And then they come to Krishna, then you will feel so happy. Oh, this person is joyfully practicing Krishna bhakti. And I was so fortunate that Krishna allowed me to be an instrument to bring this person to his lotus feet. Because Krishna is very kind, that he can, just by a snap of a finger, make this whole universe Krishna conscious. But Krishna doesn't want that. What Krishna wants? He wants his devotees to take the glory of going out and preaching. And at the same time, Krishna doesn't want to force himself onto anybody. Krishna says, you have to come through your free sweet will. Now if you are put in a very difficult predicament and you are forced to do something, you may do it, but you won't do it with pleasure. But with proper understanding and knowledge, you come through your own free will and execute a particular activity, you'll feel more happier because you're doing it out of your own free will. And of course, free will is what we have to exercise. And the way we can show our love for something is to exercise that free will, to come by our own free will, to come to that activity or action or a person. And that is what the loving exchange is. So The whole process of becoming free from this is given to us in these traditional pages of Srimad Bhagavatam. And the simple process of becoming happy in this material world is becoming Krishna conscious and making others Krishna conscious. And when we make others Krishna conscious, then also we become more Krishna conscious. Because the more we make others Krishna conscious, then we also become more Krishna conscious. Because more you have, the more we can give. So it's just a question of focusing our minds and our hearts to the principle of bhakti. This bhakti has not just come by chance to us. It has come out of causeless mercy of the Lord. And the Lord sees in His transcendental vision each living entity and says, okay, here is the living entity who deserves to be free from this entanglement of repeated birth and death. Let me give him the mercy. Let me give her the mercy. And then this mercy comes to us. And when He comes to us, we should be so eager to take to Krishna consciousness without any complacency. Then we'll become very happy. And not only that, but we should also become so protective of this good mercy, good fortune which we have got, that we don't lose it. Because it is very easy to fall back into the pool of material enjoyment. And then we can completely become illusioned by the kind of illusionary energy comes in front and says, hey, this is spiritual, come and enjoy. Yeah. So it is kind of an power of the illusionary energy to entice us to stay in the material world. Because on one hand, we want to come out of the material world and we are praying to Krishna. On the other hand, the illusionary energy is also the devotee of the Lord, and her duty is to keep living entities in the material world. So she is doing her level best to put all living entities in illusion. Now Krishna is not going to interfere with the Maya Devi because she is executing her service. But Krishna says that even though Maya Devi is there, she is endowed with so much power to put the living entity into illusion, but I hold the key. I am even more powerful than Maya Devi. So when we take shelter of Krishna sincerely, then Krishna says, now that you have come to me, I will give you full protection. And in the Bhagavad Gita, what does Krishna say to Arjuna? Arjuna, you declare it boldly that my devotees shall never perish. Because if I say that I will protect my devotees, I am sometimes put in a dilemma. Then I am kind of, torn between two situations. So Prabhupada was giving this one example, that one businessman was praying to the Lord and said, dear Lord, when I go to sleep tonight, please kindly protect my business from thieves. So Krishna says, my devotee is asking me for protecting his business. Okay? And the thief is also a devotee of Krishna, saying, dear Lord, tonight let me be successful in stealing. So now Krishna says, when Prabhupada uses this, paraphrasing Prabhupada, so Krishna is perplexed. What to do? Both devotees are asking for something. One is for protection and other is success. So Krishna says, I have got to help both of them. I cannot be seen of favoring one and the other. So Krishna is saying to Arjuna that if my devotee promises, I am bound by my promise of my devotee, and therefore I have to fulfill that promise. So of course Arjuna is saying that yes, the Lord will come and protect you, come what may, if you take his shelter. So that Krishna has to come and protect you in whatever situation we are in. So we have to have faith in Krishna, of course. If you don't have faith in Krishna, then Krishna is not going to reciprocate. So we have to have 100% implicit faith that whatever I do, Krishna is going to protect. Then Krishna will come and protect us. And we see this, of course, yesterday we celebrated Prabhupada's Tirobhav. And in Prabhupada's own life, how much struggle he went through. Now one would think, here is a transcendental personality sent by Krishna himself to execute his mission. Wouldn't you think that Krishna said, I am going to give every facility possible at your disposal so that you can execute my mission properly. But no, we saw from the very beginning, Prabhupada was struggling like anything. But he had to work hard. So it's not that Prabhupada had to work hard, but Prabhupada was showing us by his own example that if you want to achieve Krishna's mercy and Krishna's lotus feet, then you have to work hard, literally hard. And then success will come. And then Prabhupada himself says that I worked so hard. And then if you read the Prabhupada Lilamrita, the first volume, Lifetime in Preparation, in the heat of summer in Delhi, it's 45 degrees, Prabhupada is walking, and he wouldn't go on the bus just to save a few cents, because he said, these few cents I will save, I can buy paper, I can print, so I can distribute. So Prabhupada would walk, and he would be so eager to give the message of Krishna to everyone. And then later on, he got a little bit more facilities. He printed his first Bhagavatam set. And I just read one devotee was saying this past time was, because we had our Tirobhav the day before in London. Somehow, timing is kind of mysteriously inexplicable how it works. But anyway, so this past time was said that Prabhupada was sitting in his Radha Damodar temple, and he was praying to Rupa Goswami that I have got this mission, I have got these instructions from my Guru, but I don't know what to do. And then Rupa Goswami appears before him. You go, take these books you already have, and go to America. So Prabhupada said, Rupa Goswami has given me this order again. And it is the same order which I received from my Guru in Radhakund when I was walking in Radhakund Shamkund Parikrama. Said, if you ever get money, print books and distribute and preach to the, and the first instruction Prabhupada got when he met as a young man in Bagh Bazaar. You're a young man, you're educated, take this message to the English-speaking world. So Prabhupada said, everything is coming together, I have the blessing of Rupa Goswami. Then Prabhupada looked at him and said, I'm an old man. I'm very fragile. I said, okay, come what may, I will go. So Prabhupada, I don't need to go into the whole story, but you can all read again and again and again, because you may not enjoy Krishna books so much, because you haven't connected with Krishna so much, but you can connect with Prabhupada very easily. And if you read Lilamrita, every time you read, you're going to get so much understanding of Prabhupada and relish it more and more. So I would advise Lilamrita is your first stop, then Krishna book. So Prabhupada went and he struggled. When he came to America, he had nothing. And Prabhupada said, I'm in Boston Harbor, and he prayed to Krishna, said, now that you brought me here, what do you want me to do? Please tell me. And of course, Prabhupada was guided by Krishna in his heart, what to do, how to do, where to do. And slowly, Krishna consciousness began to blossom. And we are now the recipient of that beautiful flower of Krishna Bhakti, which Prabhupada blossomed by his hard work. So we have got this wonderful Krishna consciousness. We should be very eager now that I have got these blessings of the Lord upon me, I am a devotee of Krishna. We should be fully surrendered to Krishna and not worry about our own needs. Just do what is required. And then when we engage in going out, preaching with enthusiasm, it is not we who will be preaching. It is Krishna who will be preaching through us. We will simply become an instrument in the hands of Krishna. So, if you think that we can preach, you can go day in and day out there, and you're not going to get any success because you think, I am the doer. But if you simply think, Krishna, I'm here, I'm the puppet in your hand, pull the strings as you like, and my tongue is here, let it wag and speak the way you want me to speak, the transcendental message. And if you allow Krishna He will speak through you, and it will touch the other person's heart. And when the other person's heart is touched, they will be awakened from the slumber. And then they will be eager to hear more about Krishna from you. And then more and more and more. And then, of course, they will want to become devotees. And once they become devotees, say, now that I am a devotee, I should show my gratitude to Srila Prabhupada and Krishna and go and give this to others. And that way, it will spread like wildfire. And Krishna consciousness will go like anything. Only thing is that we have to look at it in a very positive way. Now, I was thinking when I was flying here that the world, because I met some gentleman, I think he's from Switzerland, but he was living in England for some time. So he was coming back here. And he was saying to me that the world is full of strife now. There's wars and so many things going on, disturb people. And he is a very strong Christian. So I said, yes, you're a Christian. What did Jesus Christ say on the cross? Go forth and sin no more. And go and preach this gospel to the world. So if you're a true Christian, take the message of Jesus Christ to people and say, stop worrying. Love thy neighbor. I said, oh, I never thought like that. I said, Krishna is saying the same thing. And Lord Jesus Christ is his son. Although you may not accept that he's son of Krishna, but Jesus himself says, I am son of man, I am son of God. And that God is Krishna. You may not accept Krishna, you may just say God, that's okay. Then I said, you know what Shakespeare said? A rose by any other name is a rose. So you may call God, I may call Krishna. It's the same. So he was thinking, oh, maybe I should do this duty. He was something like a 75-year-old man. I said, yes, I think I should go and preach this message to the world. I said, feel free, my friend. You have received the blessings, you go and give the blessings to others. But you must teach them the ways of Jesus. Love thy neighbor, do unto others as you want to do unto you. And that way you will become a good person. And once you become a good person, then naturally the Lord in the heart, the Paramatma, in a devotee's heart is not any different from a Paramatma in a Christian's heart or a Jew's heart or a Muslim's heart. It's the same Paramatma. And that same Paramatma will then say, okay, now that you have come to a little higher level, I will show you. This is the real understanding. And then naturally they will accept Krishna as the Supreme and embrace him. Just like, the whole world, we have devotees from all over the world who have taken to Krishna consciousness. Not necessarily they were born in some kind of Hindu culture, because that is a fallacy of thinking Hindu culture is something special. There's nothing special. Just like any other, I would say it's just like any other hog. Indian hog, African hog, Chinese hog, American hog. His hog is a hog, But that hog can be changed by the mercy, as Brahma came and freed Indra from his illusion. So we can also free everyone from their illusion by the transcendental mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and give them the shelter of the holy name. So I will stop here. If anybody has any questions, comments, feel free. Yes, Prabhu.
Maharaj, you mentioned quite in the beginning of, thank you for your class, first of all, sorry. In the beginning you mentioned how as devotees we should try to understand what does Krishna like, what does he like to eat, how does he like we should dress. Sometimes there's a quote of Srila Prabhupada which devotees like to bring, how one time when Prabhupada saw they went to buy bread in the bakery, then he said you can also make bread and offer it to Krishna, and then it's prasad, and then they use that to say, it's fine to whatever we like, and we offer it with love, then it will be fine. But it seems that there is some different degrees of devotion and how we approach Krishna. That the first, from what I heard from you, the first class is when we really meditate. What does Krishna like? He likes chapati and puri, and maybe you can say something about this.
You see, it is a question that in our neophyte stage, you may think, well, I like bread. So if I offer to Krishna, maybe Krishna will like the bread. And therefore Krishna says, okay, since you like bread, then that is what is going to bring you to the level of offering the bread to me so that it becomes prasadam, then I'll accept it. But really, it's not what Krishna wants. So we have to look at it from this point of view, that in the Krishna book, there's mentioned what Mother Yashoda cooks for Krishna. Then we have Bhaktivinoda Thakur in his Bhoga Arti. And in the Bhoga Arti is mentioning all different categories of foodstuff which is offered to the Lord. Now these pure devotees, like Bhaktivinoda Thakur, they have very intimacy with the Lord. So they know what the Lord likes. So therefore we offer those category of foodstuff which they have already given to us. But then we kind of offer things what we like. You see, like for example, devotees love pizza. But actually pizza is not actually food in mode of goodness. I also love pizza, but then I say that I have got a lot of ignorance in me because I'm eating food in mode of ignorance. But Krishna is very kind. He says, okay, at least you're offering it to me. So I will make it prasadam. So I will take you out of that ignorance. And sooner or later, you will come out. Because if you look at the pizza, what is cheese? Fermented and then put into storage for 6 months. And it kind of is basically food in mode of ignorance. And then the dough, you make it, and you put yeast and all this stuff. So it's not exactly offerable to Krishna. But we are offering it. So Krishna is very kind, saying that even though you are not the highest level of devotion, but you are at a lower level of devotion, you're starting, you're crawling. So I will make a concession there. And then you see, like sometimes when Prabhupada was in the West, and the concept of vegetarian food in the West is basically lettuce leaves, or boiled carrots and boiled peas, or mushy peas and mashed potatoes. That's as far as the vegetarian food goes. But then if you go to India, from north to south, east to west, all different states, they have all different kinds of vegetarian foodstuffs, although now it's contaminated with all this nonsense of meat products in it. But there are so many dishes and spicing and flavoring of all sorts. But that doesn't mean it's mode of goodness, because over spicing is also mode of passion, So we have to know what is exactly food in mode of goodness. But the point is that in the world, we come from different parts of the world, we have different cultural upbringing and different taste for food. So Krishna is very kind that he makes some adjustment to allow us to come into the fold of bhakti and Krishna consciousness. But we should not take that as an abuse that, oh, Krishna will, is giving me some liberty here, so I'll take full liberty. But he's saying, since you are just crawling now, as soon as you start to get up and walk, you should kind of give up all these bad habits or lower taste, and give only that which is food which is good, or which will be healthy and nourishing. Just like in the Bhagavad Gita, it is very clearly mentioned, food is in mode of ignorance, food in mode of passion, and food in mode of goodness. So food in mode of goodness increases your longevity of life. Now it doesn't mean that it will increase your life from say 50 years to 100 years, but the quality of life will be healthy and not disease one. Now if you eat more food in more of ignorance and passion, then you will become more diseased, and this will be more detrimental to you, because when you're in disease condition, you can't do much. You're suffering from the different disease conditions. So we have to be very careful that what we eat is going to be conducive for our spiritual progress. And therefore, even in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is saying to Arjuna, rise even about the three modes of material nature. So ignorance you have risen, passion you have even gone past, now you are goodness, but goodness is not the end of all. So rise above goodness. And what is that? Visuddha Sattva, pure mode of goodness. So pure mode of goodness is beyond this material world. But goodness is still a material mode. So even if you are in goodness, you will still be hanging around the material world. Maybe you will get a better body, better facilities, or maybe you will go to the heavenly planets. But that's as far as you go. But you don't want to go to the heavenly planets. You want to go beyond, you want to go to the spiritual world. So, we have to be very careful that what we offer to the Lord is that what Lord likes, not what I like. Because where is your sacrifice? If I offer to the Lord what I like, then Lord says, okay, fine, you're offering to me something with affection and love, I will accept it, but it is for your enjoyment. Where is the sacrifice? So when we do a sacrifice for the pleasure of the Lord, that is going to bring real reciprocation with the Lord. But I'm not saying that, we all of a sudden we go tomorrow and say, okay, I'm going to sacrifice everything and I'm going to change. We can't, because if you do that, what's going to happen is very quickly you will become disturbed, frustrated, and then you'll give up. So Krishna says, do everything naturally. So in that one chapter where Krishna is describing of the sannyas, about renunciation, so Prabhupada is mentioning that renunciation should come natural. It should not be artificial. So if it's naturally, you renounce things, as you progress in spiritual life and your understanding and your faith is stronger, then it will last. But if you just renounce for the sake of renouncing, then what happens? 6 months, 1 year down the road, boom, you fall back again. So never jump the gun. Just leave it to Krishna. But with folded hands you pray to Krishna. I am doing my best, Krishna. I am in your hands. My progress depends on you. But I will follow the principles laid down of bhakti, rules, regulations, and everything which is given to us by instructions, by the spiritual master and the scriptures. We'll follow that. Then if you follow sincerely, you'll make progress in leaps and bounds. There's no doubt. I don't know if I answered the question, but
thank you.
Okay. Any more comments, questions? Yes, Mataji.
Yes, actually I have two, but I don't know if...
It's okay, Saturday.
Yeah, okay. Very nice. So thank you very, very much for this wonderful lecture. It was really nice. And I had this question. You mentioned that we always have to enjoy, like the soul is enjoying materially or spiritually. And sometimes we're thinking we're enjoying spiritually, but actually we're not enjoying spiritually. And what to do, also how can you really understand what is what, and when you're on the point that you're understanding that this is not material, and that you're not always thinking of that and being disturbed of thinking that this is material.
Well, see, happiness which comes natural, without great endeavor, then that is a kind of yardstick you can measure that this is the mercy of the Lord. But if you have to endeavor and work hard to get some, and then you feel that yes, I'm happy now because I got this, then that is kind of material happiness. I'll give an example. This is a mundane example, but Apple i15 Pro Max, and you work hard. And then you get your Apple and say, wow, I'm so happy I got my Apple, latest phone. But that is material happiness. But you see, you are minding your own business, chanting your rounds and doing your service, and someone comes and says, hey, I'd like to give you this, and gives you an Apple 15 Pro Max. Then you can say, okay, this is Krishna sent it to me, but he didn't over endeavor for it. So you can differentiate like that. That if something comes your way naturally, then you can consider this is something sent by Krishna. But if you work hard for it and over endeavor, but then even you say that okay, I will use this in Krishna's service, it's still an over endeavor. So that's not what Krishna wants. So we just have to do as Krishna says, karmani evadikarastu, ma phaleshu kadachin. So it's karmani evadikarastu means do your duty morally and correctly and honestly. Then whatever result comes, that comes by the mercy of the Lord. So ma phaleshu kadachin. Don't do it on the basis of expectation. Because when we do something with the expectation, we may be disappointed because we don't get our expectation fulfilled. Or we work even more harder and try to get things which we want, but then you never get because it's not destined to you. So that's why Krishna says, just do your duty. What is destined to you will come to you. So happiness is like, something which comes your way and you feel comfortable, then you can consider this is spiritual. But something which comes and it makes you a little bit uncomfortable, or that happiness which comes your way and then later on the result of that happiness is misery, then that is not spiritual. Because the happiness which comes by Krishna's grace will only bring more happiness. It will not end in misery. But in material world, that which brings happiness will bring misery at the end. Just like say another example I give is, somehow you have a good job and you have a good salary, then you go to a car showroom and you buy a brand new car and you say, wow, this is my car. And then the salesperson says, okay, sign all the documents here. You sign all the documents and hands the key to you. This is your car. And with great pride, you sit in the car, you switch the engine off and drive off the showroom. And you drive down the road and boom, you meet an accident. And the car is destroyed. So that which was, pride and joy moments before has now become misery to you. So this is like a gross analysis of what brings happiness, and instantly that happiness turns into misery. So that is not spiritual. But if it's spiritual happiness, it increases manifold more. It doesn't decreases. So of course, we should not look for happiness. As Krishna says, just do your duty. And if you perform your duty properly, with proper understanding, then automatically it will result in happiness. Because Krishna is your best well-wisher. He is not going to give anything untoward to you that will not make you happy. He knows what is your happiness. We think we know what is my happiness. So that's why I'm thinking, I know what's my happiness. If I get this, that, other, or this situation, that situation will make me happy. But that's my speculation. But Krishna knows better what is my happiness, what I need. Just like the mother knows what is good for the child. The child knows better, and therefore he throws tantrums and says, "Mother, look, why don't you give me this? This is going to make me happy." Mother says, "No, it's not going to make you happy." So similarly, the Supreme Lord knows what is going to bring us happiness, and then He gives that. But we think we know what is happiness, and therefore we are running around here, there, and everywhere trying to look for this happiness. It is eluding us. Because real happiness is that when you are with Krishna. That's the bottom line. So I hope you understand what I'm saying here. That differentiation between happiness in the material world and the spiritual happiness. The spiritual happiness is you can be anywhere and you can be quite content. You don't need any facility to become Krishna conscious. For example, the Goswamis, when they were told, go to Vrindavan, they don't bring a suitcase full of goodies, and say, hey, I'm going to Vrindavan. They just gave up everything. And Sanatana Goswami, they were like, living in a luxurious life as ministers in the Nawab Hussein's government. They gave up, discarded everything, and they're sitting under a tree and going Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram. And they were quite content. So, if we are content, then you're happy. If you're not content, then you're not happy. And you may think, a suitcase full of goodies will make me happy. Well, I don't think so. People have tried, and you can try again and again and again. You'll get the same result. Just like Isopanishad says, that it is foolish to do the same activity expecting a different result every time. If you do the same thing expecting different result, that's what Isopanishad is saying, that it's foolish to think like that. So basically, if you really want to know what makes you happy, is that you're content, you're self-satisfied, you don't need anything. Then you're happy. It may not be some luxurious things, but just you can sit peacefully and you're content. But otherwise, you may sit peacefully and then the next moment, well, maybe I should go there, maybe I should go there, maybe I should get this, maybe I should get that, and you're running around. Then your peace is broken. So if you're content, that is peacefulness. And if peacefulness is there, then you can happily sit anywhere and meditate on the Supreme Lord and remember the Supreme Lord. And when you connect with the Supreme, then obviously that is where happiness comes from. It is an art to practice. It doesn't come overnight, because contentment also comes after a long time of proper practice, because we are so used to expecting so many things for many lifetimes, not this lifetime, but many lifetimes. So it takes time to undo all that and then come to become self-satisfied. So that is the secret, to become content with whatever Krishna throws at you. You say, yes, this is very good. This is what Krishna has given me. Then you are not endeavoring for anything. Okay? You have enough time?
Модель можно?
Whatever.
Может быть, это и не важно очень, но если тилаку перевернуть вот так, то это получается купол церкви, а вот это вход, стопа Господа.
If we turn tilak upside down, so it is like a temple, and it looks like temple.
Да, купол это лист туласи.
And this leaf of the tulasi, it is like a head of the temple.
Это так у христиан.
So it is like a
Купол, туласи
they
и
have
стопа Кришны.
this symbol. И в чем вопрос?
А?
И в чем вопрос?
Не, просто это не вопрос, это просто такое, не проповедует о Кришне.
Because it was mentioned in your lecture something about Christianity, so what do you think about this symbol?
Well, you see, if anything that reminds you of Krishna, then it is okay. We have to see that in everything, if you can see Krishna, that is fine. But of course, we should not speculate. Sometimes we can get into dangerous grounds when we start speculating. So we have to be careful. But we have to go according to what is given to us. So tilak is up and tulsi is down. Basically, that means these are Ganga and Yamuna, and Krishna is sitting in the middle, and the tulsi is the lotus feet of the Lord. That is our Vaishnava tilak. But of course, there are tilaks going this way, and the Ramanuji tilak is different, and Nimbalkacharya tilak is different. But we are following Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and this is a Gaudiya Vaishnava symbol. But of course, you can see Krishna in everything, because at the end of the day, everything is parts and parcel of Krishna, or Krishna's energy. So we have to try to see Krishna in everything. Just like Krishna says in the 7th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, I am the taste of water. So if you drink water and think, wow, this is so much beautiful, it's quenching my thirst, and it's Krishna. But if you just drink water and say, wow, my thirst is quenched, then it will just quench your thirst, but you won't see Krishna in it. Just like Krishna says, the sun and the moon are my eyes. So on a beautiful morning, when the sun is rising the horizon, you say, wow, Krishna is opening his eyes. And you immediately see not a beautiful sunrise, but what do you see? Krishna is looking at us, his eyes are opening. And then romantic people go on the sunset point and look at the sun setting, and he's kind of feeling some romantic feeling about the sunset. But if you look at the sun and say, wow, Krishna is going to take rest now, his eyes are closing. So again you see Krishna. On a full moon, you see Krishna is in full glow and his eyes are open like Lord Jagannath. He's looking at the world. And then slowly the moon is getting smaller and smaller and smaller. Till it comes Amavasya, there is no moon. So Krishna's eyes are closed. And then the new moon begins, you see the crescent moon, you look at the skies, wow, Krishna is beginning to open his eyes. So immediately you see these things and you can relate to Krishna. So you're thinking about Krishna, your meditation is Krishna. Otherwise you will just see a beautiful moon or beautiful sunset or sunrise and it won't connect with Krishna. So in other words, even Krishna is telling us in the Bhagavad Gita how you can connect everything and see everything in relation to Krishna. And if you begin to train your mind to relate everything to Krishna, then it becomes second nature to see Krishna everywhere. And that's why even in Upanishad says, one who sees Krishna in everything sees me everywhere. So I give this one example that I don't know here in Switzerland, but in England, we had chocolate which is called Cadbury's. So if you ask any small child, would you like a Cadbury? Say, yes. Why? Because the child is thinking Cadbury means chocolate. But the guy who made the company and the product chocolate, he gave his name Cadbury. So he was Mr. Cadbury's, is giving the name to his brand of chocolate. So it becomes so popular now that Cadbury becomes chocolate. But chocolate doesn't become Cadbury. See? Or like for example, Ford. If I mention Ford, immediately saying it's a car. But Ford is not a car. It's Mr. Ford who started the company of automobile and gave his name Ford. And right now, we have a wonderful devotee, Amrish Prabhu, the great-grandson of the automobile industrialist. Amrish was Alfred Ford, and Prabhupada gave him the name Amrish Das. So if I say Ford, I say, wow, Amrish Prabhu. Then you are thinking about the devotee of the Lord and Amrish Maharaj, and it connects you with Krishna. But you just think of a Ford car, it's just a car. So just like in the material world, everything is so much, advertised everything, that you start relating things with that. But that is not the product. The product is related to that name. Just like chocolate is related to Cadbury's. So the product is related to the name Cadbury. Cadbury is just a name of a person, Mr. Cadbury, who started the company. So just like that, if we start training our minds and try to see Krishna in everything, then wherever you see Krishna. You won't see mundane things. You see Krishna. Because some part of Krishna is in there. Just like I say, the beautiful moon is Krishna's eyes. Sunrise, Krishna is opening his eyes. Then in the midday, the sun is blazing up there. And you look at the sun, you say, wow, Krishna is looking at the whole world. So you see that as Krishna. You drink water every day, think, wow, this is Krishna. So you train your mind to think about Krishna and everything. Then you see Krishna everywhere. And at least that is my realization. Okay? Hare Krishna. Alright. Jai Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Granth Bhagavad Mahapurana ki jai. Gaur Premanand.
So this Atmanivedana Swami ki jai. Thank you very much.
Too long.
So you will take care of March. I can try to push it with like a chai. Muss ich ihm gerade sagen, Servus Gott.
Thank you.
Все, я... Супер. You know how to take this down? After prasad, come here, take down. After prasad, together. 10 o'clock. 10 o'clock, okay. Хорошо.
Вот я, вернее, что я смотрю, как вы так делаете, я все время Милисим Хадеева вспоминаю. Видите, как хорошо вы проповедуете. Я такой, о, Милисим Хадеев проявился. Так, давайте здесь дорогу. Конечно.
Допустим, храм, это означает храм.
Боже, вернее, что... Вам надо словарь составить, толковые словарь, вы любите.
Да, допустим, я пытаюсь долго там чуть-чуть. А что такое? Рамадан? Нет.
Рама ставит.
А я говорю, Рамадан.
Да.
И такие.
Вот.
Понимаешь, это получается, как в один год, да? А это все бежит в городе.
Все правильно. Но он просто не знает.
Ну, такие есть.
Ну, нет, такие я знаю.
Не так, что должно было понять? Допустим,
Вы кушать хотите?
литургия, на и, на иврите.
Вот.
Он